Yeah, men will never move for you, and if they do, it's usually a terrible situation because of this. So, when we think of domestic violence, we think of, the man with all the money and all the control and stuff. But my form of domestic violence, and a very common form of domestic violence or coercive control or whatever you want to call it, is when the man is dependent on the woman. She makes all the money. She's like the dude. She's like the man of the house or whatever. And he becomes, I don't even know what you call it. Some people are like malignant narcissist. I don't care what you call it. Whatever it is, it's full-on exploitation, emotional warfare, psychological warfare, and control. And the way this shows up in international couples, or not even international couples, even, just if you move to another city or state. So again, you put yourself in a very vulnerable situation if you move for him. And I've just covered that in the last video. But if he moves for you, this is how it'll ruin your life. Sorry to bring this up again, but my article for Harper's Bazaar applies here. Because men won't have any friends, and they will rely entirely on you for everything, and they will wear you out. So the thing is that women have been raised under patriarchy. Men have been raised to be individualistic, and women have been raised to be more community. But too much so, we don't even know ourselves. We don't even know what we want. We don't know who we are because everything is about them, whether it's men, usually king baby, or our children or whatever. And men have been taught to think, me. What do I want? What do I want to do? I don't care what anyone else, it's just the opposite. And both extremes are not healthy, right? Community is really important, but also you have to stay true to yourself. So what happens with a lot of these men, if a woman moves for him, and he's not like a complete jerk, then she does at least have a shot of making friends and community if he's not abusive, because women have been taught how to do that. We also know how important that is. And it is normalized for us to be close to other people, especially other women, and to make a lot of friends, and to literally women do all of that labor within their own marriages. Oh, have you sent your mom a Mother's Day card? Right? A lot of times sons will only have relationships with, close relationships with their own family because the woman is doing all the emotional labor behind that. So if you get a man who goes to a country or another state or moves for her, and he is totally fine letting her do everything, he won't work. He'll just be fine with her working. He won't make friends because he doesn't want to make the effort, because so many men are just lazy and they're totally fine being parasites. They have no problem with that. It's shocking to me how comfortable they are with being parasites. Just off mommy their whole life, whether the mommy is their actual mom or their sister or their girlfriend or their wife or even their daughters once they get old. Just take. And so as an immigrant, I'm not doing as much as I should be. But do you know how much time and effort I put into taking French classes? No, I have a private tutor, but for a while I was taking 4 hours a day, 4 days a week classes. The ones that I was crying every day because it's so hard. But every Friday I ride my bike up its giant hill, an hour, sit in that class, pay a lot of money, and then do homework on the side. Now, if you marry a man who is entitled and lazy and not disciplined, do you think he's going to do any of that for you? Do you think he's going to make any effort to empower himself so that he is actually an active member of the community? No, he'll just sit at home and he will stew in his self-pity and his resentment, and he'll blame you for everything and all that he's sacrificed for you, when he's not sacrificing crap. Maybe he moved away, but he probably didn't even have relationships with his family and had any friends before he moved anyway. And a lot of men will hold that over your head for the rest of your life and punish you how they sacrifice for you. Whereas when a woman moves to another country, she's just expected to do so. First of all the paperwork. The immigration paperwork. When I go to the prefecture to renew my visa, I've got a stack of papers this big that I've photocopied 3 copies of each of them. I've put hundreds of hours into my own immigration. Now, I was doing that before I met my husband because I really wanted to be here. To immigrate is a big deal, and it's a lot of time. To learn another language is a big deal and a lot of time. And to create a whole new community and a whole new life in a new country is unbelievably exhausting. So if you have a lazy, entitled man who is not up to task and wants to do that because he's just fine riding off on the coattails of everything that you do for him, it's going to be an abusive situation. Even if he never lays a hand on you, he will take all your money. He will be a Debbie Downer or a Duke Downer, I don't know, whatever. He'll literally weaponize his moodiness, his self-pity. He'll probably fake some injury so he never has to work. He literally will be the same way a lot of sons are with their moms. Just a parasite totally fine watching the woman drown in responsibilities. And then he's bitter at his lot in life, but has no intention of doing anything to change it. And because you know that he sacrificed all that and you made him move there for you, which you didn't, your guilt will enable that behavior. It is so hard to get out of those relationships. So either way, I'm telling y'all, I know several international couples that are thriving. Me and my husband are thriving, but again, I moved here for me and I was established before I met him. So he just added to my life and we merged lives here. Nothing I do about my life here is about him other than his family, who I love and I want to immigrate into or want to integrate into. But if that is not the dynamic from the beginning, there's already a power dynamic that is going to set you up for so many problems. It is possible to have healthy relationships within these dynamics, but they are rare and they take a lot of work in terms of making sure that things are balanced, whether he has money and is in his own country or not. The patriarchy can be more systemic, or it might be in here with the entitlement, and every man has it. And every man has to deconstruct it the same way I have to deconstruct whiteness till the day I die. And all of the systems within me, right? Be very careful. If you meet someone online and you start a pen pal relationship with them, please do not live in a fairy tale. It is probably not going to work out well for y'all. Maybe it will, but do not make those decisions lightly. Because patriarchy is the house, and the house almost always wins.